Hey dudes, it's your friend, the Reverend Pirate Frog. Come join me in the circle with my bearded brother, Howlingbuds, the poet laureate himself, Stoney Alpinist, and of course, the better half of Frapple and my friend, Johnny Apple. Pass to the left and let's have some fucking fun.
No, it's good. Fuck it.
Fuck it. I hit the button anyways.
There we go. Welcome to the circle, ladies and gentlemen. I start with ladies because there's probably two that I know of that listen to us idiots. However, it is not because of the way my co-hosts look. I can promise you that. They're wonderful and beautiful.
I wouldn't.
We'll start with
listen,
Howling.
BGG,
You're not allowed to talk
for
until I've
sure
introduced
watches
you.
because of how good we look. BGG for sure. That woman definitely does.
I'll allow
we
you
have
to interrupt
more
me
than
for that joke. For
I
sure.
bet we have more than a few. I bet we have more than a few.
We should have all of them because what else is there to listen to? Just kidding. Of course. Let me try and finish what I was doing. Howling, thank you for being so wonderful.
I'm happy to be here. Hey, everyone.
Stoney, long time no talk.
Indeed, my friends. Great to see you.
And Johnny, who just behind the scenes did not remember anything from our previous appearance on Cultivation Conversation. How you doing?
I'm getting there, buddy. How about you? Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for leading this episode, by the way. I enjoy when you do that.
It's my pleasure. I had a horrible day, and I think I'm coming down with something. So you're going to get very, very angry, Rev, which is not very angry, but you'll see the difference, I promise.
Well, grumbly voice and sarcasm and wit and all of that. I mean, you're not sick, dude.
So different. So different.
Yeah,
And
I just sound like an
I do
asshole.
have to admit, I am glad at how good you look because you've been mistaken for me. So
yeah,
you're
Yeah. I mean,
exactly
it's
what
easily-
everyone hopes I would look like.
it's
So
easy.
that-
I mean,
yes.
you could just kind of switch
It
coast
must
on
be
it.
beauty, right?
What always surprises me is people, they just assume I have long hair and a beard, and I don't. I have a shaved head and a beard. But yeah,
I am
it's just
definitely not the Padre.
no. I think I wish you were right now because my mind has gone blank. But just kidding.
Wow, I
Welcome
can't believe
to-
we threw you for a loop this early. My bad, dude.
Every moment of my life, you guys throw me for loops. It's part of the reason I love you so. But this is a podcast about growing, and I have 3 growers with me. So I'm going to ask, how are your guys' garden? I'm going to start with Howling. Howling, you just took down. I know, but you just took down. I want to give you some love before I throw it to you, because the rest of this episode I am going to fucking ruin. No, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to say that you just harvested some, not all, of some of the most impressive solos that I've seen grown organically in a long time. How are they? How was it? How'd you do it?
Well, 6 of the 8 are dead. They've been chopped yesterday, and I had so much fun with it. I mean, I bitch a lot about growing, but I don't know if I bitch much about the solos at all. I think going into it with low expectations and just not caring what they turned out to be because they're solo cups. What the fuck? I can't expect anything out of the stuff than one joint. So it was fun. I was kind of sad to chop them down. I was postponing it. The hardest part, though, was figuring out where to dry them at. Yeah, that's a different problem. But they went well. It's so much so that I'm not doing solos again this next round, but I'm going to do...
It went well so much so I'm not doing it. I've
No.
given them
In classic fashion.
It went
so
good,
well.
but
I
I
succeeded too failurely.
I
Yeah.
did well, too well.
I got too comfortable. I need to change it up and fuck myself over. So I'm trying a different pot size, but I had troubles with the tray.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Honestly, did it go so well that the lack of complaining, you kind of missed it? You're like, man, I really gotta
did.
fucking do something else.
I felt
it was picture perfect.
boring. I didn't
Yeah,
train
see?
them, and I fell into this day-by-day routine because I found out with the tray to grow, Well, these solos need so much nutrients added,
Mhm.
and I wasn't about to sit like I know like you make special teas and stuff, and I wasn't about to fucking start doing that constantly. So I was trying to figure out how to utilize this tray, and I found I can't. I had to feed every other day of something, and if there's just the timing of the aqua valve was just a pain in the ass. I couldn't do it between where I wanted regular water to stop so that way they dry back a little bit so I could feed them a little and then just keep this routine going. So I actually fell into an every other day routine. I would just fill the tray half gallon of water. Next day, half gallon of, I would make up a half gallon of the fermented teas that I use. Take a couple shot glasses to each cup and then pour the rest in the tray. Next day's water, and then just repeat that. And I fell into like this routine. I didn't have to think about it. I didn't have to train them. The light stayed at like one spot. I set it at 1%, and that was it. It was boring.
What did you start with as a
I believe that's
medium
called
in your
Zen.
Yeah, I'm glad you started asking that question, Johnny, because I know my brain's been spinning around that.
What's that?
Yeah, you didn't mention what you started with as a medium in the solo cup.
Just build a soil light,
Just
which
solo
doesn't
cup, build a
last
solo
more
light.
than 2 weeks in a solo cup. And so like
2 weeks of what?
water
Of
only,
not
like,
feeding. Yeah.
from like seed to 2 weeks.
Okay, so from sprout to 2 weeks kind of
and
deal.
with autoflowers, they got
You
super
think
hungry.
hungry by then?
Oh, they started showing, and I thought like, fuck, oh great, 2 weeks into it, I fucked this one up. So then that's when I just kind of experimented with a few things. I did some foliar sprays and I fed differently, and I kind of, and that's where let's say maybe by weeks 2 to 4 was interesting. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And then week 4 is when I kind of found this routine. I'm like, they're responding okay. And it was just that. It was just, I fell into the routine every day, 10 a.m., the lights are on. I go do my thing and they're done for the next day. And that's just, it was measured, calculated, done. It was a 2-minute experience with them other than taking pictures. And so they went pretty good, but yeah, I don't know. I want to experiment a little bit more. So I'm going to do these quarter-gallon fabric bags because the solo cups, the way that the roots grow up underneath the solo cup and hit the copper mat, they form like this little pedestal that the solo cup sits on and wants to tilt on. Like I just measured today. I think it's almost 32-inch tall solo cup. And that thing gets wobbly and it's scary. Yeah. Well, I'm waiting. And I have walked in a couple times now to where it was tipped over for some reason. And I'm just too lazy to figure out how to prop it up a little bit more. And so I'm wondering with the fabric bags, if that will be less of a problem. We'll see. The diameter of the base is more and they sit a little bit more flat. But then the watering, like the soaking up, they sucked watering until they got heavy enough. And that required me putting a bunch of crystals on top of the cups. Like I had to weigh them down to make better contact with the mat. I had terrible troubles getting them to drink enough. And I was like, I didn't get this tray to fucking sit here and hand water everyone every day. So, yeah, that was a little tricky too. So I'm hoping these bags will do well.
That's a good solution though. And I know quite a few people were intrigued to find your ingenuity to get them to drink. Because I know a couple people struggled with it.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the material, like the soil. So you were talking about the 32-inch tall, right? Top heavy, serious growth on there. Lots of plant material up top on it. How much soil was actually left in that goddamn thing? If you had,
you know what, I'll post a picture maybe like when this episode comes out.
Man, it'd be fascinating. It's hard for me to even visualize.
Root ball. I looked at Dave's root ball. They're not root bound.
Though you mentioned the next time for a solo cup grow a quarter gallon. Isn't that like twice the size of a solo?
Yeah, it is. So it's not only I don't really care because they're going to get hungry no matter what. Like it doesn't matter if it's 18-ounce solo cup or it's a 32-ounce bag. They're going to get so hungry after a few weeks. So you're going to have to do some crafty shit. So I'm not doing it for the soil volume. I did it for like the shape of the thing,
the stability.
Yeah. And so I'm hoping that wider base.
Generally,
you're doing it for like not to like do a grow along type thing.
No,
you're thinking it's like
I'm doing this fucking like, and I'm also doing this every time now, like kind of like Rev does. Like he always starts a few. I pop 2 seeds of each of Alabrije's testers, and the second they all popped, and so I have 3 quarter gallons now. Like that, they're gonna grow them. Like I popped the seeds, I might as well grow them, and it's like I said, it's lazy. I mean,
Yeah,
like it was super
Do you
easy.
guys want to know
I-
a secret? You want to know a secret
What?
real quick?
I just
Do you
They haven't
do you
invented sleeves
remember
in New
our
York.
very first grow along was supposed to be a solo cup?
Yeah,
Was it
it
really?
was.
Have you seen?
Yeah.
Tangy
You
was going to
know,
be a solo.
to this day, do you know
It-
to this day I still have not done a solo cup run?
It can be done because look at Grateful's.
Yeah,
Grateful has a
Grateful's
tall
is
ass
killer.
dinghy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
I've fallen through with our original plans, unlike my buddy Johnny. But to be fair to Johnny,
John's a
I was the
terrible
one.
person.
I was the one pushing hard out of the solo cup because I was like, "Fuck no, man! I think we should run it full bore and actually give it a shot."
And that's
But-
what I ended up doing.
And then and Johnny has done extensive research
Oh.
since and run the photo too. But yeah, you still haven't done it solo. But I was gonna say, Howling, like I get
Speaking
the
of-
chance of or getting the choice of moving. You're getting a container that's not tapered because
Mhm.
you're just gonna run into issues on that. But it's fun, man. I just like having it in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super cool to just have a plant that you don't really care. Like you did wonderful. You've done some impressive stuff with your solo cups. The last few runs, I've practically done no work for it, and it shows. But it shows you that it could be a lot of fun, man. Just to
You
fuck
know,
around and find out.
I've got one on my counter right now that is the smallest thing that I've ever grown. It's literally like the size of a thumb. And
yeah.
it's the one that's like growing sort of, it's sub irrigated. I mean, it's crazy. The soil, I forgot about it in the bottom corner, but I had tucked it into a mason jar full with a little bit of water at the bottom of it. The roots found the water, and like the soil material that's in the actual solo cup, bone dry. The roots just literally grew through it and
Yeah,
just found the water, and like
just-
they're just sitting in the same liquid. I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna let this thing ride. It's still sitting in the same liquid that's like been filtered down a couple times, and you look inside the glass, full of fucking, it's like completely hydroponically growing.
So now this makes sense because, and this is a complete idiot moment, and I have a lot of them, but this is an especially idiot moment where I was saying a minute ago that the solo cups I took out one of them, and it wasn't root bound. Like I was very surprised that this thing went 70 some days and didn't get root bound. And now I think why is that it kept on trying to go out, and because of the it formed that root mat
Mhm.
underneath it, it would air prune after that, but it just kept on sending it out rather than spiraling around in the cup. So that was a complete, it's so obvious now after you were talking. I was like, shit, that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, man.
I'm an idiot.
It's literally like aeroponically grown.
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy. It's
I am
crazy.
seeing the same thing with the tray to grow my seedlings even. So I've been really experimenting with like starting seeds and shit on this tray to grow. So exactly what Stoney just said, which is why I was like shaking my head smiling. I like lettuce and like the cucumbers and shit. They send seed or their roots down into the mat and get their water from there. Cause I've gone in there a bunch of times going, oh man, that looks really good. And it's dry as a fucking bone.
Yeah, it's like,
So much so that I've learned that I was like relying on the soil actually touching and getting enough moisture to keep it moist for seeds to start, and I wasn't. So I had to like go in there and spray and actually boost fucking because it's not the roots are what go down there and make the fucking watering. It's
Yep.
not the soil touching
Nope.
it that's absorbing it. It's not. It's the fucking roots. doing
And that's
all the
what,
work in that thing.
and I do believe like when I had to weigh down the solo cups, it was not necessarily to make soil contact. It was enough to tell the roots, hey, there's something good down there.
Yeah,
Water,
Keep
exactly.
going. And then
Just
once
exactly.
I started seeing roots come out of the cup, it's like, okay, that's it. They're on their own now. But it took a little coercing. That's why I'm hoping the fabric bag just kind of brings it a little closer naturally. Because
I think it's good, and I think it's a good way for you to get, like you said, you planted 2 of those testers from Alabrije. It's always a good way to kind of run something and see if you're like, I might give this a better shot.
Yep, because just one of them I have ran before. Like I ran the Puro Loco before, and that was really, I was just running out of feminized photo seeds. That's why she was picked to be there. I wanted 2 photos to run in solo cups. But everything else I have never ran before. And I don't even know, like there's a couple where it's no shock that I'm not a huge narrow leaf fan. So like, am I going to grow a big pound Days Sobrana or something? Like, no, I end up like I did with like Mango Smile, where it's over a year later and I still have a bunch of jars of her. And like, that's just, I could have a little bit more variety. So the solo cups kind of give me a little taste. They turned out, I hate to say this, I think the flowers on them, some of them are like better than any other plant I've grown in like a normal pot. It pisses me off.
It's the stressed out thing, right? It probably has to do. That's what I said about my tangies.
Yeah.
But that's my personal stash. Like they're going to go into my own little personal jars. No one is touching those. The solo cups are going to turn into my babies, and I get enough off of them. Like I don't smoke a huge amount, so they're going to last.
No, but that's changing because, and some people might not know because they're audio listeners. You started smoking on your electronic. Yeah, dude. Talk about that. You've given up the was it 12 joints a day habit?
Oh yeah. I had to switch. It was just killing me. I couldn't keep up with my habit. So no, I switched to the Mighty Plus after I think it was once a month I would bring up the conversation about a dry herb vape because it was always on my mind. And everyone there's two contenders really for the dry herb vapes that people recommend. And the Mighty Plus is one of them. And then there's like some retro, goofy, modern, I don't even know how to call these, wood ingrained Tiny Mighty or something like that is the name.
Yeah, the Tiny Mighty.
Yeah. And so like those two are really recommended. I'm like, I just gotta fucking do this. And I'm like, this is that time, like, I was thinking my wife also should have something smoother to smoke. So I was thinking of the Proxy. Like, we'll just get our electronic devices and, like, we'll just finally try it out. And it's good. I like it. It doesn't replace, like, just sitting outside with a joint. Like, I don't think that experience, anything's going to replace that. But the freedom I have where before I would go out to our garage and like in the summer it's super hot and it's stuffy in there and I didn't like lighting up something in there. It just sucked. It wasn't enjoyable. So this just lets me, like, I'll go to the bathroom or something. Not that I have to, I just feel better, I think, just kind of going off to the side to do my little thing. And I hit it a couple times.
I thought you were about to tell us about how you started smoke shitting. And I was like, yeah, man, that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know why you need to share that with us. But I guess we all do it, but
I mean, I really would just sit and rip bongs, but
yeah, long day, go to the bathroom, unload the fucking.
I never understood that. Like,
I take my laptop in.
No.
Smoking cigarettes on the
fire up the YouTube.
No, I never understood it.
Nah, it's too much.
And I was I loved smoking so much. And that was the one place I would never do it.
I had a buddy smoke in the shower constantly. It was fucking terrible, dude.
Yeah, something about that is just a little off.
If you can't not take a shit, like I told him, and I believe he eventually has quit. But I was like, bro, if you can't take a 15-minute shower without lighting up a cigarette, you need to quit smoking fucking cigarettes.
Yeah. Oh wow. Well, and then you know what? And I say this like I don't have a cigarette, but like I have brought the Mighty into the bathroom for a shower. So, and I think that's the nice thing is I can pick anywhere inside, and there's a little odor.
Is it waterproof, or do you just risk?
No. I am not going into the shower with it. It just will be in the bathroom.
You're in the bathroom. There you go. Okay, no, that's different.
Yeah,
I would try it in the shower now.
I do think my tolerance is going slightly up, just because I have noticed I'm smoking more because I have it. It's convenient now, and I can do it more. And oh man, I'm at a 2 capsule a night habit now, and I don't know what to do.
Goodness.
Oh, that's like 3 puffs off a joint worth there.
Slow down, man. Slow down.
It is.
You might run out of weed,
wonderful. Bro. Yeah, I know. I was commenting on how cruel the world was that my dear friend Howling lives states away when he's like, yeah, I've got jars and jars full of narrow leaf shit I don't want to use, and I'm just like, yeah,
I wish
I think he changed that opinion.
Yeah, if only we could send it out like some other stuff legally.
One day.
One day.
But
yeah,
your solos for success. You have your new dryer vape. Now, you did have a little bit of bad news. I don't want to take it away too far. I think you cursed me a little bit. You blame me. You had a plant grow into your light.
Oh. Well, I had multiple tops of that plant grow into the light, and it was. He's not lying. He warned me of this, that it would stretch, but BGG is not a dump truck, and he warned me it's like a 2 to 3x stretcher all the time. And I've never had plants stretch like this. And I would say at least 50% of the plant was into the light in some way. And so I got crafty and like put like bamboo bowls and stuff and yo-yos and kind of redirected them away from the bars and grow past the bars. There was one in the very far corner that I couldn't see back there touching the bar. It blended in, like when the light's on, it kind of just blended in. And I remember I looked over in that direction many, many, many times, probably daily. Never saw this, but it was touching one of the red diodes, and it just got hot. And so, yeah, it scorched the bar. The LED still works. The bar works. Nothing is out, but it scorched it a bit. And it's just like, I don't want that fucking shit in my tent. I don't want to worry about some bar because I stupidly grew a plant into it, like catching a fire on me. So, yeah, it went right into there, and I found the bud. Like the way that I took down the plants and put them on a rack so I could cut them up. Sounded like I was Hannibal Lecter there for a minute, but I didn't catch which bud was there because I took them down and then noticed the light was like that. So then I didn't know which top it was. And because I like to hang, I don't hang whole plant. I'll do big branches. I'll cut the single plant into multiple pieces, and not so far as branch by branch. And I was doing it, and I'm like, I wonder what fucking one was touching it. Or actually, I didn't know what caused it. I was wondering if it was that. I was wondering if it was just a bad bar or whatever. And then I was like bucking the plant down, and yeah, there it was. It's a flat topped bud, a big oh my gosh, this thing. I have to give it to BGG. Every plant I've grown of him just throws these big buds, and it's just huge. But it grew like a top hat and just was flat on top. And I look at it and it's all scorched. Like there is one, like, I don't know what the size of a diode is, but the size of a diode in there, black. And you knew that's with this main heat source. And then it was orange all around it. And I'm like, that was the motherfucker that was touching. And I talked with the owner of Grandmaster LED and said, hey, do you sell replacement bars? And showed it. He hasn't seen that done yet of cooking a bud right up next to the diode before. But you know what? Luckily I can replace the bar. The bud, I have to say, the rest of this thing is fucking huge. It kind of like hit the bar. And so instead of keep on growing up, it like just got whiter. And I think there's some salvageable pieces of it. We'll see. And I'll replace the bar. It wasn't terribly expensive. It was more of a hit in the stomach type thing, where it's just like, fuck, you're an idiot.
Yeah, that's a tough.
And I said it the whole time, and everyone's like, no, don't cut the tops. Keep going.
Now, I don't know who you're slandering with that kind of talk.
No.
And I don't know who. I believe I specifically told you to flip 2 weeks earlier, I believe is what I said.
Yeah.
It was a shame, but you still did so great with everything else. Like,
it was. You
really did manage that fucking mess, which bravo.
It was. I'm appreciating this little bit of downtime right now. So I like most of the solos are harvested. The 4x4 is harvested. And I'm just like kind of sitting around, just like it's kind of easy right now. So I'm appreciating the downtime because that tent required more training and shit than I like.
How did you deal with the fucking humidity in that tent? Because I did not.
You want to know why? It's a $400 electric bill from the dehumidifier that never shut off.
Just ran at high intensity the entire time.
The room was 40% humidity, if not lower. And I pumped a lot of air through that tent. It sucked. And it was expensive. That was an expensive run. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it was, and I tore
Bravo.
off a lot of leaves. I had to go in there and really hack away.
You really did.
Bravo.
You did well.
Yeah, it was. I will not. Well, I say this until the next time I fucking do it. But for right now, I won't do it again. I'm rethinking everything because I did not enjoy it as much as I think I should have.
The fact that you managed it without bud rot is incredible, though.
Yeah,
Because I
let's
do
see.
not.
Yeah. I was gonna say I have not in my general practice.
Nope.
So I do. I will say that sometimes I might just take the bud rot and some of it to avoid paying a higher fucking electric bill. Though I can't imagine how much that would have done me.
Well, yeah, running one of those for you, like, because I run one of the 65 pint dehumidifiers in that room, and it's not cheap to run. I can't imagine Cali prices on that thing.
No, and I
No
speaking
way.
of which, our poor buddy Chuck was talking about he had to run the portable AC in the summer, and I'm coming up on doing that too. And man, you walk past it and you feel like you're counting money. Just
So Sky did just jumped into fucking Discord showing his too.
Yeah.
He just had the same thing. He's like, fuck this shit, dude. This is way too expensive. And I literally just signed up for the budget plan so that my bill can be fucking stable every fucking $450 a month every month.
Dude,
is my fucking budget plan. That's how
I've been
expensive my fucking
I have been
month.
paying a minimum of $400 a month for almost
For your one bedroom.
For a one-bedroom apartment.
Jesus Christ.
Dude. And the best thing happened is one summer they had issues with their billing. So they just wouldn't send me a bill for like 4 months.
Oh.
Right? And then they sent me a bill all at once. So I got a bill and they can only send you a 3-month bill. Here's a tip. If your utility only ever sends you doesn't send you a bill for 4 months, at least in the state of California, they can only bill you for 3 pass. So anywho, 3 months, they sent me a bill for 3 months of summer all at once. And literally they were like, so our mistake, sorry, would you like to work out a payment plan? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to.
That's what just happened during my whole electrical issue because they charged me for the disconnect and the reconnect and the emergency, the fucking this and the that. And it's like, are you kidding? I had to pay the inspector. I had to fucking, it's like, yes, I want to be on that fucking budget plan too for that fucking. Yeah. So then I couldn't sign up to be on a budget because of the back. Listen, electricity companies, fuck right the fuck off. You and the kids can fuck off.
all them kids and no.
Why did the kids get lumped in with?
Johnny
and groundhogs.
As the person on the show who has the most kids by a lot, you would think he likes them the most. He has been court ordered from a foreign country to not have any more children within their borders.
There's a proximity too. I think it's most of the.
Well, it's the EU, and I think that they have to
There's got to be a statute of limitations
laws. So, anywho,
I'm not allowed to travel outside the states anymore. They said my pollen's no longer welcome.
Well, it causes so many disasters. We're not even talking the social, the ecological. It is. Anywho, let's move on to talk so we don't just bag on Johnny.
Well, it's Stoney's turn. We haven't heard about his garden.
I was getting there. God damn, what is Johnny?
What is Johnny?
What the fuck is called?
Is this where I phone a friend?
No, Stoney. That's the question to you. What is?
By the way, that money tree is looking fucking studly, my friend.
Yes,
yeah.
You know what?
So start there and tell us.
Yeah, I think with this money tree, I've realized if you water it because I learned how to water pots via cannabis, kind of what we've been talking about. Yeah, houseplants don't necessarily like that much water. So once I backed off on this thing for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and let it kind of dry back a couple times, it really has taken off. So yeah, and it just gets all my houseplants gets a little bit of the leftover potions that I put in. So they just got one today. And then I've got my kiddos got me a little bonsai starter set from Seeds. So I have 3 different 3 different trees. I think 2 spruce and 1 Brazilian ones of some sort. And they're about 1.5 inches, 2 inches tall. So all my plants up here and are doing wonderful. I'm having a lot of fun with the
Are you
house
sure
plants.
it's Brazilian?
Yeah, it's
Okay, good.
lots of lime juice, cilantro, garlic, bright, colorful culture.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just a little tiny one, but apparently it grows a little bit more like a tree. So these things are literally starting from seeds, and they came with this little like kit of this like watering. You water this
That's
puck,
so
and it just
cool. What
kind
a
of
great gift.
yeah. Of course, my kids know me in that.
Yeah, I was gonna
manner,
say it's
so.
almost like they know you.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Yeah, so got those started, but I mean, those it'll be like 6 months to a year before you would even put them into a small actual bonsai pot. So, yeah, I guess then that's a good way to transition. I do have a couple little bonsais kind of growing off into the corner down in the tent. We are 87 days into this grow, and then it's lights out tonight. They're done. I checked them
Hell yeah.
today.
Have you taken their final shots or?
No, tomorrow morning they'll get nice and early. They'll get their final
favorite
shots,
time.
but they are some of the more gorgeous flowers I've grown. I'm really, really pretty stoked about them. So, Smoky Stash is the one that's like purple and just frosted out. I'm like the camera's kind of struggling to pick up from the frost right now to get really dialed in. So I got to figure out a couple little tricks somehow, some way.
Raw. Just make sure it's in raw.
Yeah, I'm everything I shoot is in that on that highlight app in RAW, which I know is like a massive amount of storage for all of the pictures that I
I
take
thought
for
Raw
them. But
got you into trouble the first time, Johnny.
It's gotten
were we
me
just
into
talking about
trouble
this?
every time. Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking. What does for the uninitiated? What does that stand for?
I have no idea what it stands for.
Good.
It's the file type. Basically,
Okay, it's a file type. I'm just an idiot. Okay.
It's the equivalent to film. Basically, all the information is on a raw image, so that
you can adjust it.
Okay.
You can
Right on.
adjust it in post to what your eyes saw as you were taking the picture.
So you can change
So
all
the more
parameters.
information available, this is like that's why it's such a big file. The more information available in that raw image, the more you can adjust that image to what your eyes saw as you were taking the picture.
And
Amazing.
so like another thing that you
Thanks
can
for
think
the
about,
explanation.
another advantage to it is it takes a literal size of the image that you take is massive, right? So you can take that image from raw and you can put it on a poster, and you can put it on, like, you can blow it up quite a bit, and then you can in turn go in. So a lot of my macro shots, I'll use a macro lens, but then in the raw image I may only be looking at 30% of the original image, but you can see the length of the trichomes and you can see those things. It's incredible. And it's all pinch and pull, and it's all on my phone. So it's the Halide app shoots it. And so it does it puts the information in, and you can only go back to your other photos and edit it from there. So you can have the Halide app and go and do editing through the iPhone. But then I get the Adobe Lightroom app on my phone, a couple bucks a month or a few bucks a month, whatever it is. And then I go in there and I do all of my editing. So it really, like, I try to only spend like maybe 2 to 3 minutes editing a photo. So, because it's really easy to just get lost, and like, especially if you're taking it on the DSLR, and then you got to take the camera over to your computer, get the cables, pull files, then do this and open up all this sort of stuff. It takes so long, and it's just so easy to get into a rabbit hole. And I literally tend to go down there and I'll just take like 10, 15 minutes to take the shots. And then I'll roll a cone and go up and sit on the porch, and I'll take maybe 10, 15 minutes to edit. So most of what you see on Instagram really is only like 10, 15 minutes worth of editing if I'm putting up 3 to 5 images.
Yeah, the idea with a good photo is to get it right in camera. Like, just shoot it right in camera. That's the whole. It's right. And post is easy after that. Yep.
I lower the exposure a little bit when I take it. The camera will take more data or more information from the light if the exposure is pulled down just a little bit, and then you can put that light back in post editing for it. and even in the Lightroom, like it's got a bunch of presets and you can go in and tip tap, but what you see is kind of a style. Like I tend to, most of the light that you see is kind of tempered at around the 3900 degree. It's a really comfortable light, especially in canvas. It shows the greens without the purples. So anytime I see purple, I try and take that out of it, and usually that'll show up like in the in our kind of in the reflective material inside our tents. So there's a lot of little things to doing, and it's really just like, I think Johnny, you said it really good. Like the camera captures so much, but in RAW, you can get it back to looking like what you saw in your eye. That's a great analogy for it, bro. So I started, you know, and I've done it. I have it so many photos just sitting on my phone. But it's a good little creative outlet. So have fun with it. I mean, and people ask all the time. It's so much easier than, like, I think there is a lot to the composure of what you see and what you put into the camera and how it's kind of, you know, just in the square. I mean, it's like a plate when I do food. You know, some chefs can really see a plate, can just see ingredients and put them onto a plate, and there's just like a moment where it all comes together and it just looks absolutely perfect. And then there's some people that just really don't have it. It's just kind of clunky looking and just stylistically, you know. So it's kind of the same when
Those
I'm
are my
looking through
pictures.
it. No, not necessarily, but and it's not for it's and
Never
it's just a
mind.
way.
You take beautiful pictures. I take a picture and away she goes.
Well, it's the YAG way of doing it, right?
Yeah, some people use. Listen, a photograph, artistically intentional or not, is still art. It's documenting something artistically, whether it's through just the process of a daily photograph or not. It's still art, no matter what it is, no matter how you look at it. It's still, man, pictures are how we are all connected right now. It's what led us basically together, because it was a picture on Instagram. It was one simple bud, like a Mephisto grow, one simple beautiful fucking bud that somebody saw a picture of, and it led us down this path to your average grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Photography.
And you know what I find is
All I
interesting?
can say about that is fuck art. Let's dance.
I think it's really interesting, and I find this common trait. I think we might have even talked about it before, either here and in the Discord, but like, I tend to either shoot like the images that I put up on Instagram or that I put up on Discord. It's rare that they are more than like 4 or 5 hours old. Like it's so rare that I would post a photo from like 2 or 3 days ago, and to the point where if I've taken it and I just haven't like posted it for whatever reason, I just go take another one. And because I just don't want to
You
show
need
something
it fresh. It's the
And
chef in you, dude.
yeah.
You're like,
But
nah,
no, I
man.
think-
Yeah,
but
I
the-
never
the
do.
produce.
I don't even think I get that long. If it's not like once I'm done with gardening. 'Cause
Exactly.
I take all
That's
exactly.
yeah.
Once I'm done, if I don't
Yeah.
sit down and immediately fucking
Right.
get ready to send it, it's never gonna get sent.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
but
so.
I think that there's something like to this point where, like where you were saying, it's a piece of art. Like all of what we do, it's a constant evolution of art, and it is similar to cooking, because you know, like there's this, like if you look at a chef as quote unquote an artist, right? We kind of start this process all the way through, and then we feed somebody, and that is our art. And when that food kind of goes out and onto the table and they start cutting into it and eating it, really it's done, right? We've crafted the memory of that moment in that meal, and that's something amazingly special. But our actual art, this creative outlet, this medium that we've been working with for 2-3 days or whatever, especially that day, it's done. But our process, like we as creatives follow along, like we enjoy the process more than just the final end result of it. So I think with all of our photography, like the stuff that gets posted with all throughout Discord and Instagram, like I just find it interesting how I would gander to say that the photos that go up there are within an hour or two from being taken. So it's almost this like gonzo art at all times, right? There's just a constant evolution of people's creativity. And Sure, a bud shot's a bud shot, but every one of them creates different patterns. And to your point, Johnny, there's always one. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen bud pictures. I go onto Instagram and guaranteed every time I'm on there, I'm like, God damn, that's fucking cool. That is really cool. Yeah. That is an incredible angle, or the way that that's grown, the pattern that it's grown into, it is fucking amazing. So I think it's just one of the visual aspects of what we do.
One of the
most of the shit. No,
sorry,
I feel like
sorry. I was going to interrupt.
Nope. Let's keep doing this. This is very quick. This is great radio.
Yeah, you want to dance?
Going.
What's up, brother? How you doing? You looking good. No, I was gonna say one of the coolest things about the YAG Instagram going on there, other than sharing your guys' pictures because they're fucking amazing, but is seeing all the cool shit our friends do. Like, it always goes to say, like, the coolest thing about YAG is everyone else, like, not the fucking 4 idiots sitting here.
Yeah.
Now, Johnny, what were you gonna say?
Something similar, like it's.
Oh, fuck you!
The words right out of my mouth.
No, you were gonna say it way better. I gotta stop swearing so much. I got yelled at for it.
There's no chance. There is zero chance you got yelled at for the cursing.
You did.
They're still catching up from Johnny from those first first half season.
Pull these messages. You told me I was not allowed to be on the circle again unless I stopped swearing.
That was private. That was private. I'm going to go full ASMR.
Oh, gee, I was just going to say.
This episode is sponsored by Elabrehe Genetics.
Tapping your mic, rubbing your fingers on it.
This is what
Johnny hour.
Howling gets me so angry. He ruins my day. I turn into a dick. My apologies.
I didn't mean to do that.
I know. I'm just kidding around. I just wanted it on the record so everyone knows. Like, wow, Rev was a dick. Why? Howling. Stoney.
Yeah.
You have your harvest soon and soon to be taking photos. Do you have any plans for next? Do you?
Yeah.
All right, brother. Let me lay it on me.
Oh man, now I'm gonna be totally put on the spot because I've pulled out the archive like a couple times, and I think I have all of the slots.
Save yourself by putting the word tentatively before, and then anyone who gets mad at you, be like, "Bro, you didn't listen."
Yeah, well, my ADHD jumps out, and then I can't even fucking remember at this point. So, Magic Castle, I know, was one of them that was on there.
You broke up for me. What'd you say?
The Magic Castle was one of them.
Okay. Good choice.
And then, I totally should have written this down because I pulled them out of the archive and looked at them a couple times. I'm kind of at that spot.
You're good. You'll update us when you remember.
Well, based on there's only one that's still kind of the open slot, and I think I'm still kind of got my eyes out for. I loved this goat genetics. This guava punch that I've had going this round, I have been floored with the way that it is. It's really incredible. It's size and shape, bud structures. I'm really impressed. So I'm potentially gonna get a little bit more of some of the goat genetics and run them.
He comes from the best coast.
That's right, right
West
here.
Coast?
The Central Coast, my man.
Maybe
the West Coast of the burbs, I think.
We should do
Johnny. You know what this apple needs right here? If you're only listening to this podcast, you can't see it, but there's a neon apple behind me. And you know what I'm thinking it needs? A fucking map. So we can show how there's only salt water on this area here.
Mildly brackish in some spots.
Here.
What I wanted to say was we should start some kind of charity where we get dictionaries to the very badly needed
no, Central Coast is right.
Very badly needed Central of America so that they understand the definition of coast.
We're just gonna take you to the beaches, man. We'll take you to the beaches of Indiana and the dunes.
I know. Okay.
I know. So
where there's
terrible.
a fuck ton of leeches.
I know. Yeah, I know that's what they are. I know when you go to a lake, it's a beach. It is very hard for me sometimes to remember that because I'll be like in Idaho, my sister's like, "Oh, let's go to the beach," and I'm like, "That's a really far fucking drive." She's like, "Oh no, the lake." It's weird. I'm sorry.
It's the southern coast of the. Indiana represents the southern coast. So,
but isn't the sand imported? Just
Dude,
They stack it up
the
in dunes,
sand
man.
on that beach. Is it not hauled in from the local municipality? The sand.
There's dunes there. You can just go camp right on them.
Hey.
I'm still lost on the Indiana is the southern coast.
I don't.
Oh,
We need to talk about what was the circle and how this was the last episode. I can't associate with a man who quite literally
People
said
were waiting
Indiana
so
is part of
long.
the southern coast.
Like, Jesus, we went so heavy on you guys for so long, and then we gave you such a long break, and this
What
is how
happens,
you
man?
disappoint your fans.
Is what happens.
You know what? The
With
three
this
people
falsehood?
in Indiana who listen to us are fucking so excited right now.
They
are
consider it the
so
Amalfi.
Team Stoney. If
So let's bring it back real quick. I want to bring it back. Neither one of you have talked about your outdoor plans, your outdoor garden right now.
Oh yeah.
Let's.
no,
that
not
was
your
a big
cannabis garden, Howling. The one that doesn't exist. Talk about your
No.
positive pumpkin story.
outdoors.
Yeah.
Specifically because I just recently learned about what's that consecutive planting? There's a fancy fucking word for it. I can't
I
whatever.
believe, isn't it?
Staggered planting or whatever, and I am like just started new
Succession planting?
seeds in succession. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, where you guys at with like your whole shit? Are you starting new seeds outside, or are we just sick of the fucking watering and the weeding at this point, and we moving on to like, all right, fuck this, I'm ready for fall already?
All of my flowers are in bloom right now. So I switched over and I didn't do any vegetables or anything really edible at all this year in this garden. So loaded it up with flowers. And they're all kind of in full bloom right now. Sunflowers are like 7-8 feet tall.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and I've got the chocolate cherry ones are like the size. They're probably 8 to 10 inches. And those are the ones that were in Instagram. And then I've got, I think, 4 total cultivars of sunflowers growing. So I've got a whole wall growing off the back. And I've just slowly been defoliating them because, pest control where I am, because I've got corn fields right behind me and they're so heavily sprayed. There's really no pest control that I can do. They're all just pushed towards my flowers. So,
you gotta soil, man. You gotta just invite every fucking beneficial you can. You know what I mean? That's the only chance you're gonna have is just
and keep out any sort of weed pressure and dead material. So a lot of defoliation at this point. So like to this stage, there's not even thinking about reseeding anything, but now it's just still kind of heavy work. Deadheading dahlias. I grew the dahlias throughout the winter time in my garage, and they did like this quick turnover of the overwinter of like a really short flip. I went and kind of cleaned out the earth box that they were in, and they end up making these like little, it's kind of like ginger, they're little rhizomes. And then I was like, screw it, and I just put them into a pot that was out back, and I noticed that they were growing, and they always, I guess there's a real big challenge to getting a dahlia to flip. And over winter you need like a period of time, but for some reason they did it. And they are huge. So they're like this cosmopolitan, gorgeous looking dahlia. And then I planted seeds for 3 other cultivars of dahlias, 2 other cultivars. And so the first round, I just got like the first blooms off of that one. And then my garden like came with a bunch of perennial flowers that it just seems like whoever was here before me clearly knew what they were doing. So my lilies of the valley are coming up right now. And then I've got all my hostas are in full bloom right now with big flowers on them. So flowers in my garden.
Can I pause you?
Yeah.
Can I pause you? Can I? I don't want to interrupt, but I've got such a point, and I do you mind?
Lay it on me. No, jump in.
No. So you said that with your somebody before you knew what they were doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck do we pass that on? I literally was having that thought as I'm building my fucking garden, and it's like, I'm not going to be here forever. Chances are my kids are not going to take this house. We're going to find it's going to be different, but somebody is going to want this spot. Exactly. But how do I tell somebody? How do I pass that on? Like, how do I mark it off? Because somebody might just come and want to fucking have grass someday, but
I feel like
raspberries are always going to be there. My fucking strawberries are always going to fucking be there. There's like shit in my oregano. Like, how do I pass that on for the next generation and have that not just be, well, if somebody didn't know about fucking garden, like, because there's shit around my yard, like the raspberries are intentional at this point. Somebody's been growing them. So, and then I keep looking around. It's like, I see that, but it's like, man, it would be so much easier if there was like cement something. We need to figure that out, man. That's
I'll tell you this, man. It's as simple as this, and that's why I feel like Dora the Explorer. Maybe this is the theme of it. You said it yourself. I think drawing a map. Like, if you're ever like, when you get to the spot, like, I think you should have a little hand-drawn map, even if it's just a little sketch, and you kind of map out where things are. Because I'll tell you, on that exact point, every springtime when I'm going and like pulling out weeds, I don't know what's weeds and what's not. And I oftentimes, like, I have two giants. I have the largest weed I've ever grown in my entire life, just for fun and dandy. It's like 10 foot tall. And because I thought it kind of looked like a rhubarb, I'm not exactly sure. But then I was like, no, it's a weed. It's just a giant fucking weed. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I just grew it. So to your point, like, there's so many things that there was a chance that I got rid of stuff that was maybe beautiful flowers that I didn't know when I got here, because it was just mixed in with a bed of full of fucking weeds.
Yeah, like my horseradish is the same way. I would fucking take my weed eater as a fucking 20-year-old
and rip it off.
Bought this house and just fucking weed this thing, because I wouldn't know. But if there was even, man, like a beautiful, like a picture to fucking just leave in the house with a note,
even if it's just like a hand drawn,
there's a handwritten note behind. Yeah, man.
When you do that, I think a map is really cool. But when you do, and like include it, make it all truthful, but then throw in like weird things, like just be like body buried here, or just like random shit. So when they're like, oh my God, like treasure under this tree, because everything else will be there, they'll go crazy wondering why the body and treasure aren't there.
No, I'll give you another hack and tip too. If you live in more of so, I had some experience. We just sold a house in the suburbs, and about 10, 12 years ago, I went to a landscaper and I had them do a landscaping plan. And so we like consulted, and they came out and they talked in trees and all these sorts of things, and bushes and hedges. And then you pay for the landscaping plan. We ended up doing maybe 50-60% of it. And we did like the trees and the hedges and all of the things that were the big cost and all that sort of stuff. We did that up front. But the key is that landscaping plan is yours. And so that we actually left with the house on that same good intention of, you know what, like, here's all of the things. And here was like this folder, this like binder that had the care for all of them that we had purchased. And so it was like keys to the castle. So to your point, Johnny, like, if you ever do, like, no one really knows what's in our gardens, like, especially in that pot. When I go to cut off the tops of those dahlias, if someone just leaves those alone, you're going to have some beautiful dahlias. But if you go in there and clean it all out, which I might have done something that way. So, so outdoor garden's been going really cool this year. I love the flowers, man. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous to do. So, and there's so much land out here. It's just me. So I don't need to grow a bunch of food. You know what I mean? I need too much of it. So the flowers I get to look at every day I'm out there, it's like so similar to growing cannabis, they do respond to. They've gotten some a couple worm teas, and just gave them some bloom nutrients.
From your own worm bin?
Nah, not yet. I'm gonna get inspired though, dude. I keep waiting for YAGs. You guys are supposed to be sending them here to the Central Coast, so when we can figure out shipping and handling.
Okay.
There was a point we were gonna midstream them here, right?
If that's all you need is a bag of fucking worms to get the motivation,
I need some
let's
castings.
talk after the show.
I want some of that fucking nectar syrup. Do you guys get the liquid that comes out of it? Does anyone get any of the juice or anything?
I don't water mine enough, to be honest with you, that I'm really getting that.
Really?
I probably should amp mine up with a little bit of watering. Yeah.
I want some of that nectar, some of that worm shit nectar.
See, and that's why you need a worm bin.
I know it, dude. I know it. But I mean, I got a pile of weeds out there that's I mean, it's easily 8 foot round, 4 foot tall. Last time I pulled weeds from here, it was 5 wheelbarrows. So that was, that's a hell of a weed haul. So yeah, that keeps me pretty damn busy.
So to that point too, I just whacked down my fucking cucumbers, right? And there was this huge mound, and I'm paranoid on what to do with this. Like, should I start a fucking compost pile? Should I feed it to the worms? And do you know what my lazy ass did? I left it in a fucking pile sitting on top of my mulch. Do you know how big this pile of fucking humongous like paranoia became? About 10 inches by 24 inches. It became a pile like nothing. Once the water was gone out of it, it was like, oh, this isn't such a big worry to deal with. I could put this in my little worm bag in fucking no time. Them worms are gonna love it. I could shred it up and tear it up, and yeah. And you know what? I just put it back in the fucking garden because it was so small at that point. Because it was like I was so paranoid. I don't even think it would have been enough to even justify putting in the compost pile. So like a pile of weeds that big becomes like nothing to feed to worms. And yeah, man, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I want to get like a whole, I need to get a giant corral set up for it though, and get something that I could actually do a full turn and mix on it. It's a full project for a commitment for sure. But I do know, or I have been thinking a lot after this year with the sunflowers I really want to try and grow some autoflowers outdoor next year. Just like throw a couple in the dirt.
Hell yeah, dude.
I think I can kind of grow some sunflowers around them to keep it well disguised. So I wouldn't be too worried about it, but I think I could probably get away with a little one just for shits and giggles, almost like what we opened up the show with solos and whatnot, like just to have fun and kind of grow with it. So definitely I'm gonna get into a little bit of outdoor next year somehow, some way. If not, I'm just gonna go like into the woods and like see if I can just do a bootleg one. Yeah, just do a guerrilla grow and see if anyone finds it.
Dude, yeah, I can't wait to fucking hear about it.
Dude, next summer we should do something to a guerrilla grow with like.
That's a great idea.
Because I want to see some people do it to like fucking completion.
Yeah, dude.
It's always super rad to watch, but that's in the future and knowing us.
Allegedly, we'll say that. Allegedly,
turning. My wheels are turning.
We've all got spots, but
I just want to make I want to make seed bombs with autoflower seeds. I still think that would be cool as hell, but I mean, chances of it taking are pretty low.
Yeah, well,
my wheels are so turning. Seed bombs, oh my word, yes,
fun stuff.
I love it.
But Johnny, tell us a little bit about your garden. Brief recap.
Brief recap. Where are we? Oh, so Tangy was harvested and she got bought bud rot. So that was fun. Did we mention I had to do the whole donkey dunk?
I believe we talked about it.
Okay.
But if not, you did you had to
as we speak, she is being trimmed. So I was not talking into the mic. As we speak, she is being trimmed. So the chosen mom that of the Tangy that I grew was based on one simple principle. If I'm going to keep a mom around, she's going to be able to root easily in a cloning situation. And this number 3 just rooted and rooted and rooted and rooted. So the 4 I had in veg looked beautiful. They all looked similar during this tangy selection process. She's being trimmed right now. That mom that I chose. She is not the tangy I was looking for, unfortunately. So the terps are not quite the tangy I was looking for. The rooting makes me want to keep her around, but I think I'm gonna move on, or maybe try another tangy run in the August drop. So I might try another run of it, because I just don't think that I found it. Now that being said, the top buds were massive. Same problem Howling had. They were in the light, they were getting fucking burned, they were fucking this and that, and the biggest buds, as it was becoming time to shit or get off the pot with these things, as far as harvesting goes, developed a little bit of fucking signs of bud rot. And I was like, motherfucker. All right. It was literal chop day. I was like, motherfucker. Because I wanted to harvest them on my birthday, and I knew I had high humidity problems. I couldn't justify turning on a fucking dehumidifier in this fucking grow space, man. I got 4 fucking refrigerators running. I've got 2 fucking gigantic freezers in this fucking house, and I can go on and on and on. I can't justify. So I just amped up the fan and the fans and the fans and the fans and the fans and fucking prayed, and it happened. So I immediately on harvest day fucking went and bought some fucking barrels and did a Dr. Zyme's fucking full bud wash fucking dunk 2 different times on these things. I dunked them, hung them back up, let them fucking till they stopped dripping, fucking dunked them again and fucking hung them back up, and then went and fucking hung them in the dry tent. Where I saw the bud rot on these things is the only place I see bud rot on these fucking things. So that Dr. Zyme's fucking bud wash nipped it in the fucking bud. It didn't continue to grow. I didn't lose any more than what I initially saw from that fucking thing. It like killed it right then and there. It was like, stop. I didn't like reverse anything with the bud rot set in. It was there. It was fucking, but that was it. Everything else is salvageable, and I feel absolutely comfortable consuming that product because there was 0 signs of it anywhere else. That being said, the flowers are ugly as shit. So they're like they're just ugly. They get like burned from that fucking every bit of it. They're just gross looking, but the terps are still there. It's just not the tangy I was looking for. They are a delightful floral, semi lemony, just not what I was looking for. And there's so much more to talk about, but we got like a YAG episode to record, so I don't want to ramble too much. But that is what I have been rambling on all night, is the fucking tangy number 3. That is my chosen mom. Whether or not I continue her or not is, we'll see what she does, because she's sitting in a earth box outside right now. So and by the way, the reason was because her and my Hella Jelly mom both got the fucking spider mites. So I just stuck them both outside. And you know what happened? The fucking spider mite said, fuck this. And they're done, dude. Yeah, exactly. The spider mites are gone, man.
It wasn't perfect for him, man. That's part
Yeah.
of the
So
problem.
I have a Hella Jelly, big Hella Jelly mom going in a 15-gallon outside. So I took the one that was in the 1 gallon that was trying to keep alive in the tray, and I fed that to the chickens again, and put the Tangy in an earth box. This was like 2 days ago. I let them both go and get healthy in the 1 gallons, and the spider mites fucking said, I digging this shit. I'm fucking out of here. And then I fed the one to the fucking chickens, and then gave the other ones a beautiful earth box home. And Tangy's looking beautiful. So I'm probably gonna take a cut of her and Hella Jelly and stick them back in the fucking cloner and see what happens from there. Yeah, I hate killing plants, man. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I probably will decide later on down the road, but that's what I got going on. And here's to I now have Hella Jelly number 3 and Tangy number 3.
There you go.
So
It works out.
here we go.
The universe in her wisdom. Alrighty. It is my turn to ask a ridiculous question that I do every time we do one of these things.
Wait, we're not
So-
even going to address your ants? No, fuck this. We need to hear about your ants, sir.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've not acknowledged any ant problem before.
Listen, we need just one snippet.
Nobody needs to hear about the. Actually, you know what's funny is the earth box with the biggest infestation of the ants is the Cosmic Apprentice, which is
And
my
she is huge.
Yeah, and she's huge. I think she's bigger than my Queen's Banner was, so she might be my biggest. My Galaxy Brain was pretty large too. She might be either my biggest or second biggest night owl. But yeah, I mean, the earth box is a fucking disaster though if you pull that cover off, and it's a nightmare. And I'm still suffering, all of the effects of that ant infestation because she's at like day 56 or something. And I believe the next earth box, that frog get full V1 is at day 5 because I'm still having struggles and I refuse to give up because I'm a damned fool. So yeah, that's my ant struggle. I have not done anything to treat them since the second nematodes because the plant is too big and I just have to wait to harvest them.
I'm gonna enjoy. I mean, there's gonna be a little bit of a sick enjoyment here. There's going to be a time where you're looking for something to smoke, and you're going to be smoking dog snacks, and that is going to be
Yeah,
great.
it's funny too because you've just planted your West Coast Tucadillo.
Yep.
But as Elabrije said, his got real big, but mine is not real big. Dog Snacks, which was supposed to be the broadleaf, has literally just shown her true colors, gone fairly thin. Like she looks like a decent medium and gotten size on her and totally made up for the West Coast. Not made up. There's nothing wrong with West Coast. It's okay to be small. I'm not size shaming anything. You guys know my heritage. I'd be a hypocrite.
It's just comfort with the size. You're comfortable with it.
I'm
You're really
comfortable with it.
You've
It's
accepted
the
it.
ocean, baby. Yeah, size of the best. But yeah, so she was a surprise, and I can't thank you enough, Howling, for the recommendation. I wasn't going to because I've complimented you enough tonight, especially for making me so goddamn angry earlier. But my question is that acceptable, Johnny? Was rubbing my face in the ant problem that I refuse to acknowledge a good enough reason? And I will say I jest. I have ants. It is perfectly fine to have pests. I'm not like sharing it because I'm embarrassed or something. My plant's kind of thriving right now. So if you get past them eating your seedlings, it's not really that big of an issue as long as they're not farming aphids. So I kind of just have to wait. I am a little worried that I have feeder roots. And so I've been doing a lot of top dresses that have been mostly sacrificial. Like I've been using all of the defol from put it underneath, where normally I wouldn't use it all because they fucking kind of just been eating that instead of what I hope isn't the roots,
the good leaves,
my feeder roots.
and the roots.
Yeah. I'm kind of worried too because I was like, I started noticing a little bit of deficiency, and so I've been like top dressing and kind of treating that. And then I'm like, damn, man, there's a lot of feeder roots. I really hope these ants aren't going to down out of these feeder roots. So she's at day 55, 56 or so. She's pretty quick. Like she's faster than in both the West Coast and Dog Snacks. So she's already to the point where I know I'm going, nothing too, unless something terrible happens, I'm not too worried about it. So it would at this point it would just suffer yield and stuff, and so that would suck. But it would be interesting, I guess, to find out that they love their favorite food is feeder roots. that would be an interesting phenomenon, but it's not. So let's get to the question I have to ask. It is sort of along the theme of Stoney mentioning his home and all of that stuff, but money isn't an object. You don't have to go. I don't need, a walk through TLC. What was the home channel? HLC or whatever. Home
HGTV?
HGT, whatever. The joke's fucking failed. I failed. Anyhow, I don't need a full walkthrough, but if money was no object, location and general type of house. Johnny.
I don't even remember the question. It was so poorly executed.
Yes, I stumbled greatly. I was asking if money was no object, where would you live, and a general vibe of what kind of house, right?
My choice probably would not be similar to my better half's choice. Fuck it. She'll come. Alaska, man. I'm going. I gotta go.
I can dig that. I mean, not me personally, but I can dig that for you. As long as they got internet.
Oh, yeah, dude. There is fucking internet on the North Pole now. So,
what kind of house? You going cabin? You're gonna be in the woods on a cabin? Am I gonna see you on some kind of list like top 10 in some point of most wanted?
No. Nah,
did you buy chickens and now your dream is to live in a log cabin in Alaska?
If money's no object, I want to do the fucking YouTube fucking homesteader shit, man. I'm gonna go that way. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your average Go is gonna pivot soon, and Johnny's every episode is gonna be talking about conspiracy theories and chickens, which wouldn't be that much different than it is now, I guess. I get that. That's a good answer though. Stoney.
Okay, so money no object. Want to make sure I'm
money
clear.
no object.
Money no object. Not location specific, but put me into a mountain range. I'm going to be about 3/4 of the way up, overlooking a valley, and I want like an Earthship style home, but all modern. Since there's, I want everything solar. I went completely off the grid, Starlink and everything. A single level. It's got to wrap all the way around, like the outer point, like a jutty on a like a cliff, not a cliff, but I mean, it needs to be alpine forest. I want to have trellised gardens facing, it's got to be facing west so that I can see the sunset into the sort of horseshoe home that I've got. Most likely have some sort of aircraft landing facility since money's no object.
Oh, yes.
And below in the valley is some sort of a well-running stream, river that I can fish in and recreate in, and probably a good-sized pasture where I can have greenhouses and whatever animals and fun things that I can have. But key is going to be
this does not seem average.
Well, you said money's no object, right?
No, I didn't say it had to be average. I did say that it can't be.
You said money no object.
Walkthrough though.
This is like most beautiful fucking dream, man. I am lost in fucking Wonderland.
I really do love that I don't ever have to answer these questions.
Well, I mean,
Yes, you do. Fuck off.
All I gotta say is I just gotta win the lottery. If I win the
lottery,
that
does sound wonderful. I will come visit. Was there anything?
No, I don't think he was done, man. Wait, there was a helipad.
You interrupted him, and you're blaming me for cutting him off.
Completely off grid, I think, is the key to it. So everything's solar. geothermal, Starlink.
Well, that's awesome. I
But
love
like,
that-
you know, within 45 minutes to an hour from somewhere metro, so that I can get in and go to the groceries and do what I need to do. And God, I mean, I got a fucking helipad, so what the
Wait.
fuck?
I know. Why do you have to be 45
money's
minutes?
no
to do
issue.
that?
Good point.
Money's no issue.
Good
Shouldn't
point.
you
Buy
be
a
hiring
grocery
like an
store.
organic fucking gardener and having
I'm
your own
fucking, I'm
fucking-
average, dude. Even if I get that far, I'm still gonna go buy my own groceries.
Howling.
Okay.
What about you, my friend?
Well, there's similarities with what Stoney wants. Like I want something that is situated in the mountains. I want the stream nearby that I can fish at. I think the house I would live in, like a log cabin, a cozy log cabin would be just fine. What I want to spend the unlimited amount of money on is how much land can I buy to push everyone away.
Mhm.
Like the house will be tiny. I want the land
Mhm.
and just to be off the grid, depend on myself and supply for my family, and be able to hunt, be able to fish, be able to grow food, and yeah, that's it. And however much money it takes to get enough land in that kind of setting, that's all I need.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if I went simple, I would go. I mean, the reality without having all the money in the world is I'd still, all of that is 90% in goal in mind, but it'll probably be closer to the airship style of home, where everything's kind of.
I don't want to
incubated and-
abandon everybody. I'm not ready for that. I want like a community of some sort. Like if I
45
can't
minutes to an
grow
hour.
this on my,
We will
or
have our YAG.
not the
commune.
necessarily like the neighbors don't have to be that far away, but maybe like a family plot.
Yeah,
Not just me and my
Those are-
family, but like there's fucking
Those are
10
cool.
houses and
Yeah.
it's like your sister's fucking
Yeah.
house is over there and your wife's fucking sister's house is over there and mom and dad's house is over
Why are
there.
the
And
houses
we're all
having
like,
sex?
mom and dad have the cows and I got the pigs and fuck. Yeah.
Well, those are
community of
wonderful.
some sort. Like we'll just grow this fucking YAG compound.
YAG compound is my dream. My only fear. Well, it's not really a fear, but the ATF generally.
Fucking dog
We
killing.
have to hide our
bastards.
dogs. Yeah. My only fear is the dog kennels. We'd have to
Jersey
camouflage.
and Benny are fucking safe around here
That's right.
until
Now,
I'm not.
I love all those answers. It made me cozy inside. Moving on.
No, I want to hear about how yours involves salt water.
Well, it used to be that I wanted to sail around the world and I just get on a boat and adios. Those days are far behind me, I'm afraid. But now I think I want to go to Kansas. Just
You lying
middle of.
You lying son of a bitch.
I don't know why Kansas
Were
came to
you,
mind.
were you
I was
fucking
thinking of saying
challenging whether I was
Southeastern
paying attention or
Oklahoma.
not? Did you think I wasn't paying attention?
coming home.
Get the fuck out of here.
I was actually gonna say I wanted to see if you were gonna catch it, but I wanted to say like I was gonna make up a town and call it Arkansas, like somewhere down there in Arkansas. But no, Arkansas, something like that. No, honestly, probably I'm stuck between just an island somewhere in anywhere. You know, having an island would be cool, but the chances of being an island that has decent waves and no one else being there is nil. So, you know, Costa Rica would be cool. Just a little shack on the beach. More realistic, I'll take any amount of land anywhere. somewhere, please save me. No, but realistic, like my dream would just be a beach somewhere, you know, Costa Rica forest or something, just burn out.
You want beach and you want forest. Indiana's got what you need, buddy.
Yeah, the southern.
There is more than corn.
It's the Amalfi course.
I think
No,
you just
you know,
described Jamaica.
the problem with well, obviously the large island countries, you have like tourists and all that kind of stuff that you just, you know, you don't want to be part of the problem of being like retiring tourists to some third world country that just fucking further ruins it, you know. But since this is a fantasy, fuck it, Costa Rica, and I'm kicking everybody else off the cast.
That's what I'm spending all my money
got
on.
the money
right there.
Got
I'm
the money.
throwing everyone out.
No, let's get more realistically. If I had unlimited money, I would just freaking hire an army, and everything is mine now. Wherever we want to live is ours. But yeah, no, serious answer. Just any real nice small place by a beach would be nice. And with all the money in the world, I think that gets you 1 bedroom in Southern California.
How are you feeding yourself?
What do you mean?
Like, what are you going to eat? How are you going to eat?
I have
Are you
all
gonna
the
just
money in
have
the
it
world.
Exactly. All the money in the world. What kind of food are you eating?
I'm
while
gonna
you're
pay-
just chilling on the beach.
I'm going to pay my
just-
manservants to farm.
All right. So what am I going to be doing for you exactly?
No, what I figured I'd do is if I continue this trend of looking homeless, I
Cut
figured
them
if I
shorts
had a
off
really
right at
nice
the
house,
booty edge, dude.
I'll just go beg. Just, walk around the beach. Like, I haven't eaten in months. And someone will throw me some food. And then I'll walk back to like the nicest house on the block. And they'll be like, that son of a.
There's that poor
yeah.
fella.
All right, guys. Before we get to plugs, does anyone have anything that we missed that they wanted to talk about or anything?
I just want to say it was good to have you guys back. YAG curious and all. I missed it feels like it's been a month, man. It was good to chat with you guys.
It's been a long
Well,
time.
we got ahead. I realized we got ahead. We had a couple guests on 4 episodes. We kind of blended a couple episodes. So you guys got us back into the swing. So we're now kind of 1-to-1 again, like we've always been. So we're back in the saddle. We are. Guys, do you realize it's been almost 2 years?
Yeah.
We are approaching 100 episodes between YAG and the Circle.
Yeah.
And we've got
it's
a bunch of
fucking
cool
really
shit to give away. So it's going to be fun. Our 2 year is we're having a huge YAG party for our 2 years. Just nobody but me will be there. And it's actually the Alebrije party. And I'm just going to show up with like YAG shit. Be like, 2 years for YAG. Alebrije's paying for it.
Thanks for the celebration. We've been sponsored by this episode's been.
He actually rented it for YAG. He won't tell people, you know what I mean? He's a good sponsor. No, but Stoney, do you have anything to plug?
No, I think that's it right there. That I've definitely just been reflecting in the past couple of weeks, thinking about, I've talked to a few people, met some people, and been talking about our podcast. And, there's always that mark, I think, for a lot of podcasters that get started and have lofty dreams, and they make it, 6, 7, 8 months. You make it a year, and that's like a good marker. I think I remember hearing a long time ago. We're coming up on 2 years, so kind of shout out to the 4 of us for still getting together pretty regularly like this, and getting together and laughing and still being able to talk about our gardens and watching them all evolve. So shout out to us, but most importantly, shout out to the community that still digs at the laughs and the giggles that we get and the comments and everything that we get, knowing that they listen. And if anything, from the top of the show, make sure that we know more of the women out there that are in our community too. I think it's an underserved area that I think they're out there. They just don't maybe mention it and aren't as active, but make sure you let us know. And we appreciate it. So yeah, those are my shots for this week. Our amazing women.
What a wonderful thing. And now I'm going to make Howling follow it because he's a jerk.
No, I ain't got nothing good. I'll just plug our croc wearing, broadleaf loving community. That's my plug.
Johnny, anything to plug, my friend?
I am going to plug Stoney Alpinist because for some reason he has a knack for being able to bring it back around. This man has always done this from the moment I have met him, from the first conversation I have had with him on a Discord chat. I was amazed at his capability through cannabis consumption to be able to bring it back around. So yes, bravo, sir. And
you get me blushing.
No, bravo, because you do have that, and I appreciate it, because sometimes Johnny does need to bring it back around, and so does everybody. So to bring it back around, don't be a dick, mind your own business, and go with Apple.
There we go.
What?
Just because.
And Padre, what about you? What are we gonna plug?
I ain't saying shit after that, homeboy.
That was the mic drop, dude. That was a mic drop.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for
Thanks,
digging what we do.
Peace.
Later.
Yep. Thank you.